everyone, welcome to Bickering Book Reviews. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Becky.
And today we're trying something new. It's an idea that I had. We'll see how it works. Let us know what you think.
Because I think I understand how we're playing this game, but I'm not sure.
It's going to be a game, and I had fun preparing for the game. So what we're doing is book battles, and what we've done is pre-selected 5 YA fantasy tropes. So it's just going to be 5 YA-related book items from here on out as we do this. And we are going to each select the best book of said category. And then we're going to have a voting process start. So the first vote that you can earn is based on the Goodreads rating. So whoever's Goodreads rating is higher gets that first vote. And then you, the viewers, we're going to ask you to comment with which one you think won that battle. And whoever has the most votes at the end of, we'll just say the end of the week, is the winner. And we'll post the winner in the comments. Okay? So let's get started with the first one. The first one that we chose was The Chosen One. I feel like, I made the caveat of no Harry Potter because, like, The Chosen One, Harry Potter, like, it's the whole thing. So, first one that we're finding which one's the best for is The Chosen One. Do you want me to give my title first, or do you want to give your title first?
You can give your title first. It also just occurred to me, I didn't know there was no Harry Potter. I didn't use Harry Potter because I'm having emotional issues with Harry Potter right now because of the author. But I just think it would be funny if we end up with the same book. But I highly doubt it.
I don't think for this one we will.
No, I don't know if you've actually read the books I picked. So
I was wondering the same thing. Okay, so for The Chosen One, I chose The Giver by Lois Lowry. So Jonas lives in a perfect world where nothing bad happens. He's preparing to take the new step into adulthood, but when something unexpected happens, Jonas is tapped to train with the Giver. So he starts off as the receiver, and when he's old enough, he'll take on this new position. And the Giver is the keeper of memories and experiences throughout Throughout training, Jonah begins to kind of see these new kind of wisdom to these new experiences, and it makes him question like everything that he has believed.
So I have read The Giver.
Well, yeah.
But I went entirely different.
Yeah.
I picked by Mary E. Pearson, the book The Kiss of Deception. The main character, Princess Arabella Leah, I can't read my handwriting. Leah, she had a really long name, but I can't read my handwriting. I'm sorry. It's been a while. So for people who haven't read these books, this book series is awesome. And Princess Leah is the only daughter of a king. And they tell her, you're going to marry the prince in the next town over. Well, the king in the next town over is like 95 years old. And she's like 17. And she's like, how old is his son? And she's like, well, I want to meet him before I marry him. And the next kingdom over is like, not going to happen. So she runs away. And so the book then splits into, there's 3 narratives. So you've got Leah's narrative, you've got Rafe, and you have got, I just lost his name. The other narrative, is it Jax? Or is that the other book series? It doesn't matter. So basically, one is Leah, one is the prince, who is actually only a year or 2 older than her because he was like the 3rd wife's kid. And then the other one is a hitman who was sent to kill her for shaming somebody. It was either her family, her kingdom, his kingdom. You have to keep reading to figure this out. But as you read the books, Leah finds out that she has a legacy and that she has magical powers and that she has a destiny, and she's totally badass and basically takes over her own kingdom. And the books are just awesome. They suck you in. The author is, like, when I read the last book in this series, there's a spinoff series, like, I kept tweeting at her about it, and she responded, which was awesome. But the covers are beautiful. She was super nice about it. So if you're looking for like a really good fantasy, like, will suck you in, it's good. There's palace intrigue, but there's also like military action, there's this betrayal, there's a romance, there's a love triangle, but not a love triangle, there's a betrayal. It's good times.
But The Giver, down is up is down. Everything that you believe to be true isn't necessarily true.
Movie kind of ruined it for me.
Well, we're talking books.
Yeah, but the movie it spilled over.
No, you can't. No. Okay, so I'll give my Goodreads rating. So the Goodreads rating for The Giver is 4.13.
Goodreads rating for The Kiss of Deception is 4.01. So your rating is higher.
Oh, yeah.
In all fairness, more people have read The Giver because it's on the curriculum.
But that actually makes it more difficult for them to get a higher rating.
Anyway, so next category.
The competitive side is showing. Do you want to introduce the next trope, or should I?
You can. We'll just go back from here.
Okay. So then the next trope that we selected was the lucky novice. And so, like, this was hard because I feel like there are so many that I like that fall into this trope. The one I chose, and, like, I don't think anybody knows about it. It's, like, one of my favorite books ever. One of my favorite series books ever. Our library doesn't, like, our libraries, full stop, do not have it. But it is called Heir Apparent by Vivian Van Velde. Have you read that?
I may have, yeah.
I love that author. Loved her. And so basically this is just about, it was hard for me to pronounce her name. Giannine. She is a gamer. And so she goes to her favorite arcade and starts playing this new reality game that they really haven't kind of worked out the kinks on. So she gets in, and she's plunked into this medieval world where she has to kind of complete different things and kill a dragon, that kind of typical stuff. But she just keeps messing up. So she keeps, like, restarting her life. So she keeps failing the level and respawning. The only thing is, when she's in this virtual reality, like, the power goes out, something strange goes on, and she's trapped in there. And in order to get out, she has to complete the game. But she can't die. Because if she dies, then she dies in the real world. So it's very much Sword Art Online before I've ever experienced Sword Art Online. And it's very much Warcross, but it came years before Warcross. And it's just fabulous. And I love the virtual reality world. I love that these books read really fast. They're perfect for reluctant readers. And like I said, there's a whole series about the Rasmussen Corporation, because they're, like, dirty people, let me tell you. But I really like this book.
So I went with, I don't know if people have actually read this book. It's a book by Claudia Gray called 1,000 Pieces of You, and the main character is Marguerite Kane. I love time travel books. This is not exactly a time travel book. This is they go through the multiverse, and Marguerite is her parents are physicists, and they have created this thing called the Firebird. That's a necklace that you wear, and you can basically jump into the body of yourself in a different universe. And she gets set up by a bad guy, and so she gets, like, I don't want to really go in, like, she basically gets flashed with this, like, chemical, like, some kind of, like, X-ray thing that makes it so she is the one that can leap the easiest, and she can control the leaping. And so she has to, she thinks her father has been murdered, and she thinks that his grad student did it. So he jumped into another universe. So she goes to find him. But the thing that's cool is, like, when they jump into the universe is, like, at one point she jumps into a universe where the Russian czars were never defeated and her family were descendants, so she's a Grand Duchess. She jumps into a universe where her father and mother, instead of being physicists working on this, are oceanographers, so they're living on a sea base under the sea. So every, like, couple chapters are different things, and then it slowly she finds out, like, who she trusts, who she shouldn't trust, and then there are people from other universes who are trying to get her because she has this special power, and then there are other bad guys coming at them. There are 3 books, and it's actually one of those that I like keep meaning. I listen to them, and I want to go back and re-listen to the whole thing, but they're really well done. Awesome reader, too. So, like I said, most people probably haven't even heard of it, but it's and the cover's gorgeous.
Really? I feel like it's pretty well known.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give my Goodreads rating, and it is 4.1 for my book.
3.91.
Ooh, all right. So, Parent got the Goodreads vote. Okay, now we're on to our next one. And this one may be a little spoilery because it is Secret Air, so we may be giving away the secret. What can you do? So the Secret Air, the one that I chose was Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I love that book. And basically in this world, people are sorted by blood. You've got the Silver Bloods who have supernatural powers, and the people with red blood who don't. And the Reds basically are living in extreme poverty. They're fighting the war for the Silvers, and the Silvers are like the royalty, and it's really like a messed up world. But what ends up happening is Mare Barrow finds out that she has a supernatural power, even though she has red blood. So the Silver Bloods, they don't want anybody finding out about the fact that somebody with red blood has supernatural powers. So they kind of bring her into their little like royal home, and so she gets pulled into this like political intrigue, and starts learning how to use her powers, but also she gets in tight with one of the crown princes, and he's cute and she's liking it, and she's really though hoping to kind of make things a little bit more equal and to save her family because her brothers are away at war, and she just doesn't want to lose them, and she doesn't want her family to lose any more than they already have. So it's like X-Men, but like underdog X-Men, which is awesome. It's just really good.
So I picked, trying to decide which name to go with. I'm going to go with Selena Sardothian from the Throne of Glass series. I loved the Throne of Glass series before it became a thing. I actually have bought the audiobooks on Audible when I can't get them, because when they got really longer, I didn't have time to read that. So for people who have not read Throne of Glass, the first book is about there is a kingdom, and the king decides that he wants a champion. And so all the nobles are told to go out to find your person. We're going to bring them here. They're basically going to fight to the death, and whoever survives gets to be the king's champion and lives in luxury. So the crown prince is kind of a screw up, and his father has issues with him. So he goes out into like their prison. It's like the mines that are like their prison. And he brings back this woman, young girl. She's like 17, who was a trained assassin. And that is Selena Sardothian. And she basically comes to win. And as the books, I don't want to give anything away, but as you keep reading, she has a dark backstory. She falls in love a couple of times. And she is a secret heir of something.
Of something. I like it.
Well, because that's like book 3, and I don't want to.
No, I agree. I didn't even want to get into who my secret heir was, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so my Goodreads rating for Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard is 4.05.
4.21.
Ooh, that was a close one, but mine got
Wait, yours was 4 point what?
Oh, no, I didn't. Yours is 4.2. You got it.
Yeah, 4.21. I was like, I thought you said it was close, but yours was 4.05, right?
Well, that's pretty close.
Not in the Goodreads world.
Okay, fine. But yeah, math is hard. You're right. You got that vote. So Throne of Glass got the Goodreads vote. Woohoo! Okay, and the next one that we've got is the mentor trope. So there are a lot of really great mentors throughout the fantasy world. My favorite is Grandmother Redbird from Marked, the House of Night series by Kristen and PC Cast. I love Grandma Redbird. And I want to go to her lavender fields. But I also really like the goddess Nyx in this book and the way she's crafted. So this book is a vampire book, and vampires in this world are marked with a crescent moon on their foreheads, and Zoe's mom and her evil stepfather are kind of super religious-ish, and basically they will not accept her when she gets marked as a vampire, and they kick her out. That's okay, but she goes to live at the House of Night, the local school for fledgling vampires, and there she kind of starts to learn more about kind of her powers, and she kind of finds a community and friends that she never had before. But kind of dark forces are starting to arise and come to hand, and so she really needs the support and the guidance of her grandma and the goddess. So they kind of explore that, and the evil continues to build as the book series goes on. But I love Grandmother Redbird a lot.
So when I went to look this up, I was looking on my Goodreads through fantasy, and I was scrolling through, and I kind of settled, and I was surprised that this is what I settled on. My mentor choice is Kyrian or Acheron from the Chronicles of Nick books, particularly Infinity, which is the first book.
I don't know that one.
What? You don't know that one? Mm-hmm. So it's a spin-off. So if anybody has, they're by Sherilyn Kenyon. Her first series are her Dark Hunter books, which were about Kyrian and Acheron, and Nick later. Kind of Nick. Well, Nick's in the beginning. So this is the spin-off series. This is Nick as a teen. For people who don't know the series, so they're demon fighters, but they're like vampire-y kind of demon fighters. The older ones, there are adult ones that are like kind of romancy. But the Chronicle of Nick are about Nick, who is 14 in the first book. And he, through a series of events, he gets caught in a bad place, and he gets saved by Kyrian, who is a vampiric demon hunter. And Kyrian hires him to be his scribe, who are, because they can't go out during the sunlight, dark hunters have humans who work for them and make a lot of money, but they do all of like their errands. And as the books progress, you have to keep reading. Nick takes on different roles in the adult books. But the teen books are about Nick basically being pulled into this dark world, and he has to fight demons too, and there's like a mystery going on, and like a girl who you don't know who it is, even though if you read the books, like I read them both, like you kind of figure it out pretty quickly. But it was just fun, and like Kyrian was his boss. Acheron is kind of like the person who like trains him, who is Kyrian's boss. Acheron answers to Artemis. It's a whole thing. So that was I was kind of surprised that's where I picked. You've never seen these?
I don't think so.
No, they're great, because like I remember when I read the first one, because the first book, Nick is 14, and as they progress, he grows up. He is like a sarcastic, snot-nosed 14-year-old that is so freaking realistic, and he's hilarious.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, Infinity is the first one.
Well, now I'm nervous about my Goodreads rating. Okay, so the Goodreads rating for my marked by PC and Kristen Cast is 3.8.
4.04.
Ooh, so the winner of the Goodreads vote is, what was it again?
Infinity by Sherilyn Kenyon.
Infinity by Sherilyn Kenyon, because everybody's supposed to know this.
I'm telling you, they're like 30 bucks.
I'm not a big Sherilyn Kenyon reader. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Okay, this is our last battle this time. So our last battle is a little bit more general, and basically this is the multiple perspectives book. Multiple perspectives is really all it was. What I chose, just because I love it, I chose Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. I love Shiver. I know that you don't like it because it's written in multicolor ink.
No, I picked Sinner.
What?
I picked Sinner.
I was going to pick Sinner, but I was like, I got to start with Shiver.
No, because they're very different narratives.
So funny. So no, I picked Shiver, and basically this is about Grace, who's been obsessed with this wolf after she had this like freak encounter with this wolf pack, and he kind of saved her a little bit. And so while she's like this reserved loner, she begins striking up a relationship with local boy Sam, who also kind of has like a mysterious past. And so it's just kind of what she learns about him and finding out his secrets and their relationship.
So because I went back and forth, because I almost changed the Kiss of Deception to it, but then I decided I'd rather have her be like my chosen one because it's multi, because I really do enjoy that. But I picked Sinner by Maggie Stiefvater, which is actually a spinoff of the Shiver series, the Wolf Falls series, and it's about Cole, who's a rock star in California, and he's like a legit rock star. He's not like pretending. And he's a wolf. He's a werewolf, and he is in love with Isabel, whose brother had gotten involved with Grace and Sam, and through a series of events he died. And she has moved out to LA, and it's about their relationship and like the wolfiness and other dark things. But it's the book that made me fall in love with Maggie Stiefvater's writing. I remember listening to the audiobook. It's read by Dan Bittner, who's awesome.
Yeah,
And I remember thinking just like the way it was written, the way she put the words together was art.
Okay. All right, so my Goodreads rating for Shiver, this is going to be interesting, is 3.77.
391.
That's fair. I can accept. So the Goodreads vote goes to Sinner by Maggie Stiefvater.
Right.
Okay, so we've come to the end of our battles. So you're gonna have to vote in the comments. So you vote for which ones you think won. And also, if you have some suggested, like what would you have posted up to battle? Or do you have anything you want us to battle out and see which one we like the best? Come back so we're going to give it a week. Once we hit the week, then we'll post who won. And comment below if you have any ideas for next battles, but also the next time we do this, our battles are going to take a theme of realistic fiction. So I'm not going to get into like what it could be, but realistic fiction. So we'll see you around.
Bye.